Dobra, wyłączmy może tą wieżyczkę. O! Fajnie, udało się tą wieżyczkę wyłączyć. Powiem wam tak, to jest o tyle taki plus, że jak ona jest wyłączona, to ja wtedy mogę tu gdzieś rzucić. O i nie będzie robiła problemu. No i git. Mógłbym się gdzieś tam na nią włamać i jakoś zmienić opcję, żeby ta wieżyczka do nich strzelała, a nie do mnie. No ale już nie przesadzajmy. Chociaż pamiętam, że w poprzedniej części coś takiego robiłem. Była taka opcja, możliwość w ogóle. Są na ulicy. Okej, skupili się na jakimś ludziku.
Serial killers are dangerous. Curfews are just inconvenient.
I beg your pardon?
Daria Mishka, ring a bell?
I'm sorry, but I'm not at liberty to divulge anyone's
Coś już
personal
kombinuję.
information.
We both know why I'm here. We can take the scenic route if you want.
Może się uda,
Something happens to her
ale
because you felt the need to bullshit me.
Just tell the lawyers I'm doing the best I can here. If they were going to send someone, they should have told me. We could have coordinated.
The lawyers, huh? You really need to start filling in the blanks. What was your involvement with Daria? Why did you need her to meet you here?
I used to know Daria. She was a patient of
udało się, chyba się udało.
Patient. You mean here at the drugstore?
No, of course not. Before that, I used to work
Tai
with
Young
Tai
Medical.
Young, big tech
Nawet tam
company.
byliśmy.
You know it?
Enough to know I don't like where this is going.
I headed a project, the cutting edge of neural science and cellular memory replacement. We dealt with people suffering from severe social disorders. We were making people better by making them better people.
A company like Tai Young running experiments to make better people. What could possibly go wrong?
I'll tell you what went wrong. The incident happened. Your kind lost sympathy with the world, and my kind lost funding for their projects. The whole thing was shut down, and it became very difficult to adequately follow up with patients.
Patients like Daria. What happened? What the hell did you do to her?
We were trying to help people. Imagine what it would mean if we succeeded. Anxiety, gone. Apathy, gone.
Testowali na ludziach coś, nie wiem, jakieś wszczepy.
Diversity gone, spontaneity gone, individuality gone. But you
A słuszne spostrzeżenia.
Daria is responsible for what Daria does. The only reason Tai Young forced me to get involved is because so much is at stake for them. Big brand name to protect. I've met their lawyers, men whose briefcases are filled with broken teeth. You must understand.
Okej. Skoro oni go szantażowali, to my możemy go zastraszyć.
I've been very patient so far. Too patient. That's about to change unless you start getting into details. What are you not telling me?
Look, I haven't had anything to do with this for years. Tai Young Medical contacted me and told me it was my responsibility because Daria was my patient. They implied that if Daria's story ever came to light, I would take all the blame.
So you're in this out of the goodness of your heart. What else?
My job was to address people's deficiencies by integrating donor personality packages. That meant we needed lots of confident volunteers to donate time to our project. As you can imagine, people weren't exactly lining up to have a scrape inside their heads. So Tai Young had to diversify.
Once again, not sure I like where this is going.
Tai Young Medical cut a deal with various penitentiaries. Prisoners who took part in our programs, they got granted little perks, bigger cells, running water. The prisons, they benefited from facility upgrades. It was a win-win.
You implanted the personality traits of prisoners into the mentally unstable? Smart. Let me take a wild guess. Daria's donor was Marek Svobotka, better known as the Harvester.
Donor number 698843. All I saw, all I was given was a series of test scores that showed a perfect match. Everything she was missing, he had. Nothing else mattered at the time.
Zastraszmy go.
She's been murdering people all over Prague. Maybe you'll be next.
What? She didn't actually mention me, did she?
Is that all you care about? Your own skin?
It's not all I care about, but it's a very high
A
priority.
zakochany w sobie dupek.
Then let's put it this way. She's not the only one you need to be scared of right now.
All right. Look, we obviously want the same thing here. Daria has a neural chip installed just above the hairline. She won't let you get anywhere near it. So if you're serious about putting an end to this, you'll have to, you know,
What, kill her?
that would be my preference, yes. Or I suppose you could just incapacitate her, but then you run the risk of having her wake up. Not a risk I would take personally.
There must be another way. Something that doesn't involve attacking her.
I wish I could help you. Unless you're willing to meet violence with violence, Daria's not a victim. Chip or no chip, she is behind this, and she will try to attack you no matter what you do.
I don't think Daria's as responsible as you make her out to be. Taking her out and removing the chip is great for you. Gets rid of any evidence that might link her actions to your bungled experiment. But there's no way it's my only option. And there's no way Tai Young Medical would develop a sensitive technology like this without some kind of failsafe. I know you're holding something back.
Like what?
A weakness, an override. Something that allows me to talk to her without the influence of whatever it is you installed.
Well, there is an override phrase. Daria has been programmed to react to it with specific subconscious impulses that are designed to trigger a shutdown of the chip.
Why wouldn't you tell me that in the first place?
Because I knew you would overestimate what it could do. You're a fool if you think you can just walk up to a killer and say a magic word. It won't undo what she's become. The decision to act on Svobodka's memories, to repeat them, that was all Daria. Simply shutting down the chip at this point will not be sufficient.
That's for me to decide. What's the override phrase?
Ad hominem 2026. But I warn you, do not turn your back on her. And do not underestimate her responsibility in all of this. We all have terrible nightmares. We all have visions of sick and terrible things we could do. But we don't all act on them. You must be careful around her.
No, powiem wam, że wizyta tu się opłaciła.
We have no business.
W dupę jeża. Znowu się nie udało. Ja nie znowu będą do mnie strzelać. Znowu. Tu jest biobateria. Ups, chyba policjant mnie stuknął. Dobra, spierdzielamy stąd. Uciekamy, 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 bo zaraz przybiegną i będą do nas strzelać. Jest. Tak jak już wcześniej mówiłem, czeski naród, taki śmieszny naród, bo mają trochę i dla nas śmieszny język, ale witają się takim powitaniem, takim słowem ahoj, nie mają dostępu do morza, więc taki trochę absurd w ich wydaniu, ale nie oceniajmy. No dobrze. O, w dupę jeża znowu. O kurczę, o kurczę. Znowu to samo. Dobra. Albo nie, inaczej. Zróbmy tak. Zróbmy tak, że ja teraz poczekam, aż mi się naładuje ta bateria. To będzie chwilę trwało. Nie ma co ponownie zużywać baterii. Ładuj się, ładuj się, ładuj się. Okej, i zróbmy niewidzialność, bo oni zaraz mnie po prostu znowu zaatakują, jak mnie tylko zobaczą. Nawet nie będzie wyszukiwania, tylko od razu będzie atak na mnie. To ponownie jeszcze raz skoczmy tutaj. I tutaj będziemy musieli w tym pomieszczeniu czegoś poszukać. Ja za bardzo nie wiem, co mam tu robić. I pytanie, gdzie ona teraz jest? Pytanie, czy ja tu mogę wskoczyć? Pewne wątpliwości. Tu też jest krew, tu nie wejdę. No tu na dół raczej nie. A może... No cholera, prawdę mówiąc, to nie wiem. No tu mamy jeszcze jedne kanały. Pytanie w ogóle, gdzie one nas zaprowadzą. O!
Oh, thank God. I knew you'd find me. We must hurry before he comes back.
Before who comes back? The man who killed Angela Gunn?
Yes. He knows you're after him. He wanted you to come.
Mhm. Skonfrontujmy się.
I know what's going on here. I know there's no one else out there. I ran into an old friend of yours. The name Cipra mean anything to you?
You mean Dr. Cipra? Where did you dig him up?
He's worried about you.
He's worried about himself. He's worried about Taeyong Medical. They're willing to kill to cover things up, to preserve their precious image. Their reasons are savage compared to mine.
Okej, spróbujmy użyć słowa, które nam przekazał.
Changed in you after Cypra's surgery, made you do things you would never have done otherwise, for reasons that aren't your own. But it's not too late.
Don't be so naive. I am who I've always been. Cypra's surgery, all it did was give me access to another man's technique, his courage to follow through.
I can still help you. Ad hominem 2026.
Uhuhu.
Is... What did you do? Is that how machines pray?
Listen to me. The neural chip that Dr. Cipra installed in you is in the process of shutting down. Try to focus. This version of you that's been hurting people, I don't believe that was really you.
Then you don't know me very well. Why? Why should this change anything?
Taki cyberpunk.
The procedure gave me access to memory banks that weren't my own. The choice to draw on those memories was mine alone. You can't take them from me.
The shutdown process may take some time. There may be lingering effects, but that doesn't mean it's too late to help you.
You really believe that, don't you? All right. Prove it. Approach me. Come closer. Save me from all those horrible things Dr. Cipra did. There's nothing to be scared of, right? Surely whatever trace of the harvester was inside me is gone now that you've said the magic word.
Przekonajmy.
Obviously need more help than I can offer, but that doesn't mean it's not out there. Whatever power the neural chip had over you should be diminishing now. You should be able to fight whatever urges Svobodka's memories inspired in you.
I don't need help. You do. You need to be saved. All Ogs need to be saved. Svobodka inspired me to... I can make you human again. I have to make you human again to atone for what I am.
Sadystka, zbuntowana, nieludzka. Cechy osobowości obiektu pokrywają się z cechami charakteru Marka Sobótki, pierwszego żniwiarza. Daria Myska, a raczej to, co z niej zostało, zostało już dawno uśpiona. Trzeba ją odnaleźć.
This notion you got that augmented people need saving, that there's something less than human. Look, I didn't know her, but I guarantee you Angela Gunn was a human being. Her humanity was defined by her ideas, her passions, the causes she believed in. It had nothing to do with whether or not she was augmented.
Svobodka never saw them as individuals. To him, they were victims of an age that terrified him. Mirror images of the monster he had become. He believed the entire race was under attack, that mechanization would keep our souls from migrating.
How does that sound like to you when you say it? Migration of the soul, victims of an age? I'm not talking abstract concepts here. I'm talking about people. Svobodka never saw his victims as human beings because it would have made it impossible to do what he did. He was sick, he was scared. Whatever he was no savior.
You're right. The more he killed, the easier it became. That is why he had to repeat the actions, ritualize them. It was a way of justifying his beliefs. If you kill one man, the memory is like an anvil. If you kill 7, you quickly forget the first. It all starts to seem inevitable. Surely it must be obvious to you by now. The Daria you came here to save no longer exists. She hasn't for a long time. All that remains now is his drive, his legacy, his cause.
Beta na pewno nie. Ja bym użył alfy lub omegi. Spróbujmy trochę teraz zamienić na alfę.
I don't know the extent to which you're responsible for your actions, Whether you chose to be like him or whether it was completely out of your control. But you are different. If you can recognize that, maybe you can start distinguishing his motives from your own.
Let's say that I can feel his presence receding. After all this time, maybe I can finally recover the person I was before Cypra's procedure. That doesn't undo what I've done. How can I possibly be allowed to walk out of here?
It's not for me to judge you. I want smarter people than me to look into this neural procedure you underwent. Dig into Cypra and Tai-Yun.
So you're offering me a fair trial?
I'm not offering anything. But if there's any hope of moving on here, not killing anyone else is a good start. Society has every right to judge you, and it also has a right to hear all about Cypra and Tai-Yun Medical. I'm not an expert on extenuating circumstances, but I'd say you have an interesting case.
You were right before about the override process taking time. I can feel him receding. Memories of memories no longer crashing against me like they did. Let me prove it to you. Come closer. I want at least one person to know that I'm no longer what I was.
All right, Daria, we need to get you out of here for real now. This needs to end.
The version of me who did those things to Angela, I cannot even imagine it being me, even though I know it was. Whatever happens now, whatever the authorities decide, I hope you believe me.
What's going on here? What the hell am I interrupting?
Detective Montag,
Daria's got a story to tell you. How you react may have something to do with your thoughts on experimental neural therapies and big medical conglomerates.
I don't understand. Where is the harvester?
I want to turn myself in.
One of you really needs to start explaining.
I want to confess to the killings of Angela Gunn, Misha Voracek, Pavel Klima, and Leonie Wolf. I also need to tell you about a neural procedure I underwent. It involves Tai-Yong Medical and a man named Dr. Nicholas Cypra. I hope you'll listen.
You can handle this from here. Just listen carefully to what she has to say.
Czyli to tyle.
All right, Daria. I think you should start at the beginning.
2 years ago. It's all so muddled. 2 years ago, I signed up for a program sponsored by Tai-Yong Medical.
Nie mogę podnieść.
They said they could help people to become better versions of themselves. It all
Tu
feels
mina dymna, patrzcie ile min
in
dymnych.
your lifetime.
I suggest you remember everything you possibly
Części.
can about this procedure you underwent.
Okej.
Who was involved?
Robi się lekko tu niebezpiecznie.
I'm not that person.
W takim razie...
It was just over there.
Granat EMP tak... W czasie tak wybucha. No ale okej. Udało się wyjaśnić tą sprawę Darii. W ogóle bardzo ciekawa sprawa. Ja gram w Deus Exa chyba 4. albo 5. raz. Tą część i powiem wam, że pierwszy raz udało mi się dojść tak daleko. Za każdym razem, jak gra się w tą grę, tym bardziej, że teraz gram w wersję nowa gra plus, dowiaduję się coraz ciekawszych wątków w ogóle w tej kwestii. Misje poboczne. Chodźmy do naszego domu i skontaktujmy się z Davidem Riffem. Gdzie są schody? Tu są schody. Szczepię. To na samej górze. A tak, bo ja na samej górze mieszkam. Zapomniałem. No zobaczymy, co nam Dawid powie. Do spożycia. No to zadzwońmy do Serifa, zobaczymy, co nam Serif powie.
Adam, good. We need to talk, son.
What's going on, Seraph? Why the secure VidCall number?
I looked into Facility 451. It was a processing clinic, one of dozens set up after the incident to help augmented people recover. It was supposed to be places to heal, but they were run more like prison camps.
And
And I don't think you got your new AUGs there. You said rescue teams dumped you in that clinic shortly after Pangaea collapsed, but your name doesn't appear on its entry logs. And it doesn't appear on any survivor recovery lists either.
they said I was a John Doe. Nobody knew who I was.
It wouldn't have been hard to find out. Your augmentations have serial numbers. Or at least the ones I had installed into Adam Jensen did.
Okej.
Are you suggesting all my AUGs are new? Even the ones you gave me?
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm telling you, all the AUGs we ever installed had registry codes, and they're not hard to trace.
I know my AUGs, Seraph. It took 2 years for my body to get used to them, to unlock all their potential.
2 years, really, Adam? One of which you don't remember because you were allegedly in a coma in Alaska. Look, son, all I'm saying is it wouldn't have been hard to identify you, but for some reason, that never happened.
Albo nie chcieli, żeby to się stało.
Why are you so sure I didn't get these AUGs in Alaska? Orloff was there. I spoke with him.
You said he was using an alias, McFadden. I looked into it. Casper McFadden didn't exist until the day you regained consciousness, which was 1 month before you escaped the facility.
Okay, so where was Orloff?
Not in Alaska. He was with Tai Young Medical for a while, and in the spring of 2028, his name pops up once or twice in the Baltic region. Then he dropped off the grid, and McFadden shows up.
So what does that prove? Orloff is McFadden and McFadden is Orloff. None of it connects him to me.
Except for the AUGs which Orloff designed and nobody else knows how to install, let alone make compatible with a competing system.
What are you trying to tell me, Seraph?
I'm sorry, Adam. There's not much more I can say. There's some conclusions you have to make for yourself. All I know is the deeper I dig, the more questions I have. Orloff might have had answers, but as soon as you found out he was in Prague, that he'd been visiting Prague periodically ever since you started working with TF-29's division there, somebody killed him. You tell me what it all means.
I can't. Not yet.
Well, if you ever do find out, give me a call. Until then, take care of yourself, Adam. Be careful.
Thanks for the help, Seraph.
Sympatyczny nawet z jego strony. Boję się otwierać te futerały, bo one są zbugowane. I czasami po otwarciu nie da się ich zamknąć. No dobrze, no coś tam wiemy. Padają przypuszczenie na Orłowa, że to jednak on nam te systemy zainstalował. No ale dowodów na to nie mamy. W takim razie wracamy do fabuły głównej. A w fabule głównej mamy co? Udaj się do dzielnicy Dawny. No to idziemy.